Well, welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight on this webinar. I'm Kathy Schmidt, and I'm the broker owner of Schmidt Realty Group, and I'll be hosting tonight's webinar, 5 questions every seller must ask before hiring a realtor. You know, far too often sellers will simply hire the first realtor they meet, and when you think about it, the sale of your house represents the sale of a tremendously important financial asset. And also, the realtor that you choose will be guiding you and your family through what can be a very stressful period of time. There's a lot involved with the move, and the person that you choose to guide you through this is critical to your success. Now, before we get started on tonight's content, I want to just go through a couple of housekeeping items. And now, if you happen to be watching this as a recording, just bear with me here for about a minute while we just go through a couple of things for those who are on this webinar live. Now, you'll see you've got a little box of tools and icons there for you to use on the webinar. If you could just do me a favor and look for something that looks sort of like a little mitten, that's a hand that you can raise. Just raise that if you can hear me, please, so that I know that the sound is working well for everybody. Okay, I see hands popping up. Give you a second here to find that. There we go. Looks like people are starting to find that little hand. And you can raise that at any point in time during the webinar if you need help with something on the technical side, if you can't hear me or something like that. And also, if you wouldn't mind, just take a minute and just pop your name in the chat box. Again, that'll just get you comfortable with it. Oh, thanks very much. Appreciate that, Janice. Nice to have you with us. That's great. Greg, welcome. Sarah, glad you're here. That's marvelous. Thank you so much. You can definitely, if you're having any challenges along the way to do with the webinar itself, let me know. And occasionally, you know, weird things can happen in technology land. So if ever you feel like a slide isn't advancing and it should, I'd sure appreciate your help, actually. Just let me know it looks like something's not working. That does happen from time to time. And also, if you can just make sure, too, to pop your questions in there. For the most part, I'm going to hold those until the end. I want to make sure to be very respectful of everyone's time. We should be done here in max 45 minutes, but I will stay online a little bit after that for any Q&A. All right, so there's just a little bit of housekeeping. Also, too, just so you know, if you have any sounds going on at your house, if your dog barks or your phone rings, don't worry about that. Your sound is all muted on your end, so you're not disturbing anybody. Just get settled in and ready to enjoy all this good content. Now, do stick around till the end of the webinar for sure, because I'll share with you how you can get a copy of our exclusive Realtor interview guide. That way you can literally sit down and interview realtors, and you've got a guide right in front of you to make sure that you're getting the right realtor for you and your family. Because really that's what we're talking about, isn't it? We're talking about your family. We're talking about your financial future. This topic really is way more than just bricks and mortar. We're talking about your life. You know, getting the best price for your home means your family has more options about what home you can buy next, maybe what vacation you take next, or maybe it impacts your retirement nest egg. And the realtor you choose will have a huge impact on your whole experience of selling. So my goal tonight is to kind of take you behind the scenes to show you what really sells your home and to help you interview realtors so you can know you've chosen the right advocate for you and your property. By the end of this webinar, you're going to know so much more than you do right now. I promise. I'm going to put you in the driver's seat. So what gives me the right to chat about all this? What makes me an expert on this topic? Well, first of all, you know, I've been there. I remember trying to figure out which realtor, you know, to hire years ago when my husband and I were selling our own home. You know, it was pretty scary. We knew it was an important choice. We just didn't really know what to ask. I mean, to be honest, we did hire the person who seemed the most persistent about getting our business. Yeah, it meant he was energetic and assertive, but we didn't really have a clue about his business practices or his success rate, and I sure wish we'd had that information. You know, I've been in real estate now over 20 years, and I've, you know, just chatted with so many sellers and had so much experience to be able to share with you, and I know the profound difference it makes when it's the right realtor-client match. I've been so fortunate to have a wonderful career in this profession. I've been very, very involved with our local real estate association. I've been involved in the hearing panel with the Real Estate Council of Alberta, and a few years back received a marvelous honor, very meaningful to me. I was given the wonderful award by the Realtor Association of Edmonton as Realtor of the Year, and what was meaningful to me about that was it came from my peers, came from my colleagues, so that was a tremendous honor. And again, just having amassed all this experience, this is information that I really believe should be in the hands of every consumer. I love to teach. I'm passionate about education for my team, for myself, and for the public. So whether you use Schmidt Realty Group with the sale of your home or you hire someone else, I really believe this is information that's going to be of value to you, that's going to help you have a much better selling and moving experience. So that's what this is all about. There's no strings attached. This is simply my gift to you, information that I really, truly want you to have. So just out of curiosity and to get people interactive on the webinar and comfortable with raising your hand and all of that, just pop your hand up using that little mitten, as I like to call it. Have you ever sold a home before? And if you have, just raise your hand. Okay, it looks like hands are going up there. Great, people are getting comfortable with that. That's awesome. And at the same time, maybe just pop in the chat box, how did you choose your realtor? Was it a referral? Did you see a sign? Someone you'd used before? Okay, it looks like we've got about 60% of you at least who've sold before and hired a realtor. Okay. All right, and how did you choose those realtors? Well, it looks like there's a variety here. Hired them before, friend of the family. Okay, that's pretty common too. I asked some friends at work who had just sold. Yeah, sign in your neighborhood. Yeah, that's going to be pretty common too. Okay, great. Well, that's really, helpful information for me to have. I've got a bit of an idea then, how everybody's been hiring a realtor, what your experience has been like. And again, last chat box question for the moment. If you did hire a realtor in the past, how would you rate your experience on a scale of 1 to 10? And be really honest here. I can't see your names and no one else can. So just really curious as to what the satisfaction level was. Okay, I see an 8. Okay, so that's great. That might be someone you'd call back. Ooh, a 4. Ooh, sorry to hear that. That is not a good number. 6. Okay. Okay, someone a 9. That's great. 7. So a little bit all over the map, but definitely one person for sure brave enough, and thank you for that, to say you didn't have a great experience. Well, let's set you up for a great experience this time around. Do you know, this is a very interesting statistic that comes out of the National Association of Realtors in the States. 1 in 3 sellers would consider hiring a different realtor the next time they sell. So I presume that the individual, I won't say your name, but who said, that it was a 4 out of 10 experience, you're probably thinking about hiring somebody else. I suspect if it was a 6 or a 7, you might be thinking about that as well. Again, that's a pretty startling statistic. Let's not have you enter into that number. Let's have you have a great experience and get it right the first time. So grab a pen and paper. I do tend to talk kind of quickly. It probably won't change, hasn't changed over the course of my life. I'm going to talk fast. We're going to go through lots of information. And again, stick around to the end and I'll share with you how you can get that interview guide so that you'll have that for yourself to use when you're interviewing realtors. So before we get to the 5 questions and before you ask those of a realtor, it's really important to stop and think what's most important to you. This is a different answer for everyone. A good realtor will truly be interested in your specific situation and is going to want to spend some time getting to know you as well as your home and understand what's most important to you in this whole process. Is it maximizing your price? It might be all about price for you, and that's pretty common. Again, just don't get pulled into the trap of saving money on your real estate fees. There is a bit of a saying that if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Now, I'm not calling other realtors monkeys, not at all, but I am saying it does take time and costs money to do things right. And doing things right usually pays off in the long run. Saving, in quotes, $1,000 in fees isn't a saving at all if your realtor isn't working hard for you because they're spread thin over too many clients and maybe you don't get the most you could for your home. The truth of it is, honestly, we've had clients save significant dollars just in having a realtor that knows how to get them out of a tricky situation. I had a situation not long ago where the buyers were trying to get another $4,000 out of my clients on an inspection situation. And because I had the experience and the contacts to get accurate information and the skills to negotiate through that respectfully with the other side to keep everybody moving forward, my clients not only saved that $4,000, the buyers actually got better understanding of the house that they were buying and they felt positive about it as well. But again, that took time and it takes experience. So you want to think about, absolutely you want to maximize your price, but really what you want to maximize is your bottom line. And again, if the work is being done well, it's like when I go to a dentist, I don't mind paying my dentist very well because I trust him or her to do a really great job because of their experience level. So you just want to be thinking about really maximizing your bottom line and your return. For some people, the goal can be selling fast. Time is money. If you have to be somewhere else for a new job, or you need to sell quickly in order to be able to buy a home you've fallen in love with, selling quickly might be more important than price. Again, of course you're going to want to maximize both, but sometimes it's important to stop and ask yourself which of these is most important. Maybe getting $1,000 or $2,000 less on the house might be okay if you get the perfect possession date. There's sort of a saying that time is money. Again, these are decisions that you'll be making. At Schmidt, the way we view it is we guide the process, guide you through the process, and our clients will control every decision along the way. But you do want to stop and think, which is slightly more important? Is it the dollars? Is it the speed? And what about minimizing stress on your family? Sometimes money isn't what's most important. Again, if you've got a new baby on the way, if you've got big things going on in your life, there may be reasons why just having things go smoothly and swiftly is the most important to you. Again, life isn't all just about money. We have to sort of balance that all out. But these are very personal decisions, and our goal is to maximize all these things for you. But for you to know which is the most important is really key, so that you can share that with the realtor that you choose. So, quick question. Pop this in the chat box if you wouldn't mind. What's most important to you when hiring a realtor? What comes to mind for you? What are you looking for? Okay, people are starting to pop answers in here. Thanks so much for your participation. I really appreciate that. It makes it much more enjoyable for everybody. Keeping me informed. Yep, that's really important. Taking time to figure out what my house is really worth. Okay. Getting me the most money. Okay, that's fair. All right. Looking after the showings and all the stuff that happens. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, getting me the highest price. That's another one for sure. Okay, so price is pretty important to people. Communication, staying in touch. Okay, that's pretty common too. We hear that a lot actually. When I'm called in sometimes to meet with a seller who wasn't successful, what I hear most of the time is their disappointment lay in the area of communication. With the person they'd had representing them before. So communication is really, really key, and something that I certainly believe in stressing. Okay, well, your next step, once you know what's most important to you, is to identify 3 realtors to interview. Again, these realtors are applying for a job. What you should be seeing when you're meeting with them is their best. Are they on time? Or if they're running late, did they call you? Again, that can happen in a realtor's life. I will be honest with you. But again, did they call you? Were they courteous to say they're running a few minutes late? Are they dressed professionally? Are they friendly yet professional? And again, the interview questions that I'm going to share with you at the end of this will cover so many of these areas. And I know you might think, gosh, really, I'm going to interview 3 realtors. Who has time for that? But do you have time to have an unsuccessful experience and have to start all over again on the market? Can you afford to get less than the best price for your home? It is a really important decision that you're making here. So do your homework up front, and then you can hand the work over to your realtor to get the job done. So is there a realtor you worked with before? Again, that's a great place to start. If you had a good experience like some of you have had, you might simply be happy to meet with your current realtor. But again, it's always still worth sitting down formally to talk about their current services and your expectations. Things change. Maybe they're with a different brokerage than they were before, or perhaps you have specific needs that their approach might not satisfy this time around, or you just need to, communicate to them some specific needs that you have. Maybe your family situation has changed, and, again, last time it was just the 2 of you, and you could show the home at any hours. And now you've just had the twins, and again, you need to talk about accommodating those sorts of things in a different schedule. What about friends and family? Do you know someone that's recently moved or that has spoken of their realtor very positively? Maybe someone at work who's just gone through a move recently. That's a great place to start. And then you want to sit down and interview all of them using the Realtor Interview Guide so that you're consistent. You want to ask every realtor the same top 5 questions. That way you can really compare apples to apples. And then you want to choose, I would say, at least 5 more from the interview guide to personalize your search, focusing on what's most important to you and your family. Again, you want to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. If you ask, one of them what their track record is and you forget to ask the other one, again, how do you really compare? So you want to take the time to do it right. Don't shortcut the process. This is just far too important. You really want to take the time to fairly evaluate who you are hiring. And I can't stress this enough, avoid the temptation to list with a realtor who tells you the price you want to hear or who offers you the lowest fee. And the truth of it is, you're hiring a professional, just like your doctor. You wouldn't go to your doctor and hope he tells you it's a cold when it's something much more serious just because he doesn't want to upset you. Either they're not offering you the services that you deserve, or they're undervaluing their own time if they're, if they're not going to charge an appropriate fee. In either case, you just want to ask yourself if that's who you want to have negotiating on your behalf. You want to have someone who believes in their value as a professional and who believes then in the value of your home and who can, represent both of those very, very well. Again, you don't want to hire someone who just tells you what you want to hear about your house. That's not going to help you in the long run. You need someone who, like your doctor, is going to tell you the truth and give you a plan to have a great sale and good health, if that's the case, if you're seeing your doctor. You want a healthy sale, let's put it that way. So, again, it's always smart to hire the realtor who gives me the best price, right? Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It could mean they value your home as much as you do, but here's the bottom line. Unless your realtor is going to buy it themselves, their personal opinion doesn't really matter. You might not have thought of it this way, but the truth of it is your property has to be sold 5 times. 5 times. You have to sell it to the realtors. They've got to get excited about it. Of course, the buyers in the market have to get excited. The lenders have to see that there's value there and want to lend money on it. The appraisers have to prove to the lenders that it's worth that much. And many, many buyers have an insured mortgage through CMHC or Genworth, and they have to take a look at it as well. So without a defendable pricing strategy, even if you and your realtor can find one person who wants to pay you more than market value, they won't be able to get financing. So you're having to find then someone who can pay cash. The wrong pricing strategy really could have you sitting on the market waiting a long time, and you could be waiting and waiting and waiting for an offer. All that time on the market builds up what I call negative history for your property. I remember a time when I was called in by a seller who'd been on the market for months. He was a lovely older gentleman, and he had a lovely bungalow, backing onto a lake, and it sounds like an easy sale, right? Well, here's the situation. When I went in and took a look at his property, it didn't compare to what I'd seen in the online information on MLS. His property had been listed as a 1-bedroom property with no bathrooms. It was, in truth, a 2-bedroom property with 2 full baths. Now, realtors and buyers search based on, those kind of criteria. Truth of it is, people just weren't finding it. He had a lovely home. Now, here's the situation. He had hired a reputable realtor, but she was too busy. Something went sideways. She didn't have a system. And bottom line is that work was not properly checked, and that older gentleman was on the market much longer than he needed to be. Now, to add to that story, his wife had moved to BC for health reasons, and he was very concerned about her. He was still living in Edmonton, trying to get the house sold. This is a lot of real stress for this family. And honestly, when I shared with him what had happened, as respectfully as I could, pointing out how I would have the property listed properly with bedrooms and bathrooms, I literally thought he's about to have a heart attack. He was so stressed out. Now, the reason I share this with you is, again, you can be tempted by someone just giving you a price. You can be tempted by someone who says, well, I'll do it for less. But are the systems there in place to double and triple check to make sure that the details are right? Are you getting the professional service that you deserve? So important to make sure that you have that best professional representation for your home. So don't be tempted by a low fee. Don't be tempted by a high price. Make sure that you've got a realtor who has systems in place and a track record that's going to get the job done and give you that confidence. So here's a question. What do buyers ask almost every time right after price? Any ideas? Well, I can tell you. They ask, how long has it been on the market? Time is not your friend when you're a seller. Not only is it stressful for you, the longer it's on the market, especially when the market's moving quite briskly like it has been in Edmonton, the longer that you're on the market, buyers, they make up all sorts of reasons why they think, that must be something wrong with the house. Again, you can maybe think, well, I'll start at a higher price and I'll drop the price. Yeah, you can do that, and there can be reasons to do it, and there can be a strategy for doing that, absolutely. You just have to be really aware that every day you're on the market, again, time is not your friend. You are building up history. And buyers will wonder why it's not sold after a few weeks in this market right now. Again, you have to be working with a realtor who can tell you what's currently the average days on market and what's the average days on market for my neighborhood and my price range. You have to have someone who's very, very aware of what the current parameters are in the market to let you know how long you can sit at a certain price without the market making some assumptions. Again, time is not your friend when you're a seller. And you want to make sure that you're hiring a realtor that, that offers you an easy exit agreement. And I believe the key word here is offers. I mean, any realtor can agree to give you something if they feel they'll lose you as a client. When someone offers you something, it tells you a lot about them and the way they do business. We believe in offering an easy exit listing agreement to all of our clients. That simply means that you can cancel your listing any day that you choose. Why do we do that? It's pretty simple. It's what we'd want. And we actually believe that the client should be in charge and that we have the responsibility to earn your business every day. So that's what we offer. And again, you want to make sure that the realtor that you're meeting with offers you that. You shouldn't have to ask for it. Again, if you want to make a change, it should be up to you. Our philosophy is you're in control of every decision along the way, and that includes who represents you. So let's get it right the first time and get you the questions that you need to ask and get that right realtor for you. So the first essential question to ask is, does your listing agreement automatically come with an easy exit guarantee? That should be something that they're able to pull right out of their folder and say, absolutely, here it is for you. They should take on the risk. That's what we do at Schmidt. We take on the risk of the marketing and the time, not you. You should never feel locked in. You should feel like you can exit if you choose to. Second question, what are your actual results? What was your average time to sell your listings last year? And how do your results compare to the average for the Realtor Association of Edmonton? And what's your sales price to list price ratio? So let's talk about days on market. So last year, the overall days on market in 2014 for all residential properties for the Realtor Association of Edmonton was 47 days. Our average at Schmidt was 24. And that's really consistent. It was 25 the year before that. We track that. My background is a CPA, so I believe in knowing my numbers. And the sales price to list price ratio tells you how close that the realtors are selling their homes to the list price they recommend. We're sitting consistently at an average of 97%. Our median last year was 98%. So we're consistently selling very, very close to our recommended price. Very, very important that you have that information. Third question, what percentage of your business comes from your past clients, referrals, and sphere of influence? Do they have a large group of people who already know, like, and trust them? Does this realtor have clients who come back to them regularly, or are they always having, new clients but no repeat business? Are the clients they've worked with confident enough to refer to them? When you think about it, referring someone is even riskier than hiring someone yourself sometimes. It takes a ton of trust to say to a friend, you know what, I was happy. I'm going to recommend that you work with these people. That shows massive trust. At Schmidt, we're really proud to say that 1/3 of our business comes from referrals, and that means the world to us. And both in 2014 and 2013, 89% of our business came from past clients, referrals, and our sphere of influence. People that have the confidence to come back and work with us again and again. We appreciate that, and it means so much. But again, the realtors you influence, that you're interviewing, should be able to share that information with you. They should clearly know their numbers. Question number 4, how will you ensure that I'm taken care of if you're not available? What's your system for this? In a typical brokerage, when a realtor's away, they most often simply just, call another realtor and forward their phone to that person. At Schmidt, we work with systems. Even if a realtor steps out for, a holiday, a vacation, a weekend away, another realtor will step in from our team with the same process, because we use an integrated, tight system for handling every listing that comes into our team. Our admin team, our A team, consistently handles the majority of the marketing, and they book all the showings for you. All those things are handled. Again, systems provide safety, security, and consistency. We even have a detailed schedule about how commissions are shared if someone else steps in and assists. Now, it's important for you to know that for us, we always have a lead realtor working with each client. Absolutely. You want to have one person who's your go-to, that you feel, is the person that you're really tightly working with on your sale. But again, it's impossible for anyone to be in 3 places at once. So what's the system for having someone else step in and assist? How is the information shared about what's been going on with your listing? What's the process? Because you don't want to feel like you're just getting someone's leftovers. Whoever you work with, make sure to find out how they'll make sure that you're a priority, even if they aren't in town for a few days. Question number 5. Why should I hire you over the competition? The realtor you hire has got to be able to clearly articulate their difference and their value. And after all, if they can't sell themselves, how will they sell your home? Are they well spoken? Can they speak concisely and get a simple message across clearly about how they work and how it benefits you? That's going to tell you how they're going to be able to express the value of your home and how it's going to benefit a buyer. Now here's some other questions. Those are the top 5, but here are some other questions that I believe are really worth considering asking. And again, you can personalize this. You might choose another 5. That's my suggestion. So, question 6, how will inquiries about my home be handled? How quickly will calls be returned to buyers? Again, if a realtor is out showing and they're handling all those calls themselves, how quickly are they able to do that? When I'm in an appointment with a seller, I'm not picking up my phone and answering buyer inquiries because I want to spend my time with my clients. At the same time, those buyer inquiries are absolutely vital. So we have a system where those calls all go to the office, and we know who on the team is going to be able to very quickly get back to that buyer immediately. We've got a system for that so that calls are returned within 6 minutes. We have a system in our office to get a hold of 3 realtors within our office within 6 minutes to make sure that one of them is able to get back to that buyer quickly. What's the system? A realtor should be able to tell you their process, not just, hey, yeah, no, I answer my own calls. How will you get back to people quickly? Well, what about if you're in an appointment? How does that work? Question 7, how will showings be booked at my home? Will you have to speak to realtors and buyers yourself? Again, our office, we handle that all through our office. We do not have realtors and buyers calling our clients directly. You have to decide how you feel about that and what's important to you, and know in advance what you'd be expected to handle and what kind of calls will be coming to you. 8, does your office have the ability to text me directly without going through you or phoning me? Again, is that important to you? So many of us live via text. Most of our clients tell us that they would love to be quickly texted when there's a showing happening. Again, what do you want for communication? What does your realtor normally do? What's their system? We call all these things the moment of truth. What's the system to ensure a quick response to the buyer inquiries and to make sure that realtors who want to show your home have a quick response, and that we can get a hold of you quickly as well to make all of that happen, from the buyer call to arranging the showing to get a hold of you? Those are moments of truth. Question 9, how will I be informed of market conditions affecting my sale? How are you going to know when new competition comes onto the market? Who's going to inform you of sales that might impact your pricing? How will you find out what other realtors and buyers think of your home? All these sorts of things. What's the system for this? Question 9 is all about the market. Question 10 is about feedback from buyers and realtors. Again, what's the system for all of this? It's great that your realtor's done an evaluation today when you're going on the market as to what your home is worth. But the market's like a river. It changes all the time. Changes speed, changes pace. It could even change, how many homes are on the market, the size of the river. Again, if you've been on the market for 2 weeks and you don't have a clue about other new listings that have come on or what's recently sold, you're in the dark. And you can't properly make decisions based on that, so you've got to know. Similarly, you're in the dark if you don't have feedback from people who are viewing your home. What do the realtors have to say? What are their buyers saying? And what's the system so that you're going to regularly get that feedback? You need to know in advance how that's going to work. I think that, honestly, that's a question that really could sneak up to my top 5. I might have to make it a top 6, because that is so vital for you to have this information so that you're making informed decisions. Question 11, do you use a professional home stager and a professional photographer? And what about virtual staging if your home is vacant? Again, preparation is key. It's like Christmas dinner, right? There's all the thinking about who you're going to invite, and the menu planning, and the grocery list, and all the chopping, and the making of the dressing, and the vegetables, and then it's all gone sometimes in half an hour. Well, it's the same when you put your home on the market. It's all in the preparation. Why is a professional photographer important? It used to be that second showings were a big deal. We'd hear, oh my gosh, they're going back for a second look. Well, guess what? Now your first showing at your house is your second showing. The first showing really happens online. So that online presence, that visual first impression of your home is absolutely vital. It's why we choose to use a professional home stager and a professional photographer, again, just to set your home up at its absolute best. So we like to get that stager in first to work with what you've got and maybe just rearrange a little bit, give you some tips, and then get the professional photography done. So you have to think about how important to you is it how your home is presented online. And what about virtual staging? Is that an option for you? With vacant properties, so long as we disclose online, it's important, of course, to be very transparent about that. But again, you can use virtual staging, and we have a company that does that. They can take an empty room and pop a sofa in there and an end table, and suddenly people can see a room that actually looks appealing and get a sense of its size and proportion. When people are working online looking for a property, they're going through photos so fast that an empty room doesn't get a second look. Again, virtual staging won't look as good as real furniture, of course, but it does, when someone's flipping through, cause them to quickly look at it and think, oh, that looks just the same as the other properties with furniture. They'll do a little double look and realize, oh, maybe that's virtually staged, and then they'll see the little note. But all I want to have happen is it catch their eye long enough that they take a look and read through the information. If that room just shows up as empty, they'll probably just flip through and not even pause. Again, so if your property is vacant, what kind of special considerations does the realtor have to show that off for you? Other questions. Social media reach. What's your social media reach? Are you on LinkedIn? Will your property be shared on LinkedIn? What about Facebook? What's the Facebook page for the realtor or the brokerage that you're hiring? Get a sense of their personality by going on there. That's a great thing to do. What about Twitter? Will you create a unique website just for my home? And does your website have a chat facility to engage with buyers? So let's go back to that social media reach. Again, social media, as we all know, it's not an option, it's vital. The question is, how do you do it? Very strategically is the answer, I think. Again, some realtors will flog their listings every single time, and I think what happens then is they actually will lose followers and people will just gloss over. We share ours once a week simply because that way people will know that weekly they're going to see what's new at Schmidt, but again, we also want to keep people coming back. So we have to really very carefully balance out how much we are showing listings versus providing useful information to people. So it's a delicate balance, and we do that to your benefit so that people will stay disconnected to us through social media, and that when your listing does come up, they will see it. And what about a unique website for your home? That's something that, again, that we've chosen to do. It's named actually for your address, and it provides you with an easy link that you can share to friends and family. You can put out on social media. It also allows us to track, and we can tell you very clearly how many people have looked at that unique website, and we can follow it and see if your activity is changing. So really important. And what about a chat facility? Again, if someone's on the website and they've got a question, is there an ability for them to chat with you online and then easily just get the information they want or maybe arrange a showing? That's really, really important. What about having a physical office? Is that still important? What hours is it open? I think it is still really important. There are some offices that actually are just completely virtual. So you need to know, is there an office where you can actually meet? Sometimes in the situation of having a multiple offer come in on your property, which is great, it can be so helpful to actually meet at the office. Keeps things very businesslike and professional. For us, we have extended office hours. I believe we have the longest office hours of any real estate brokerage in Edmonton. We're open 9 to 9, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 5 weekends. Why? Because we want our clients to be able to reach us easily to get what they need. We want realtors to be able to reach us very easily to get what they need. So, if a realtor is working with an out-of-town client, it's not unreasonable that on a Friday night the client might say, we were going to look at houses tomorrow, but we think we'd like to look at some condos as well. Well, that realtor has to shift gears very quickly. And if it's at 8:45 p.m. on a Friday, they know that they can actually call Schmidt Realty Group and arrange to have a showing booked for them for 9 a.m. the next day. It's very important, and it actually can increase the number of showings that you get. But again, you have to decide, is that important to you? Do you believe that makes a difference? I do, but again, you're in charge here. Special awards and recognition has the brokerage or the realtor received. Again, that can seem like an ego thing, but it does tell you something to see what has the real estate community had to say about this brokerage or this realtor. There's something there in terms of confidence that you can have. What about being accredited with the Better Business Bureau of Edmonton? There is a difference between having a review on the BBB website and being accredited. You might not know that. Any business that has had a comment made about it, pro or con, will have a review on the BBB site. But actually, to be accredited, you must actually apply and go through a review process. And you're consistently and constantly being reviewed through the BBB process. I'm actually involved with the Better Business Bureau of Edmonton, and I've learned a lot about it and been very, very impressed with the level of diligence that occurs in order to have a business accredited. So that's a good question to ask. It's just one more way to feel a little more assured about the brokerage or the realtor that you're choosing. And what about core values? Is that important? Well, again, I feel it is. It might not be important to you. That's for you to decide. But there's a saying I really like, and that is, how you do anything is how you do everything. So I believe that core values tell you a lot about a company, and they tell you a lot about the individual that you're hiring. Remember, the reputation of the realtor that you choose, that becomes your reputation once their sign is on your lawn. That realtor has a reputation of pricing well, of presenting properties well, of treating other realtors fairly, of being easy to reach by the public. All those things, of being pleasant, of being professional. Suddenly your property and you also have some of those attributes in the minds of the public and the minds of other realtors. So, if you're hiring a realtor, you're hiring someone that you're going to be very closely aligned with in terms of reputation. And lastly, do you have client testimonials available for me today? Not, can you go and get some and send me some later? Do you have testimonials? Do you have references from people who have said, you can use my name, my first and my last name? And I'm happy to chat with anybody that would like to know some more about what it's like to work with you. Again, I believe that's something that should be provided upfront and certainly readily available to you. Again, the realtor you choose, huge impact on your family and on your finances, on the whole process. It just makes sense to choose carefully, and being informed is vital. So the 5 questions that I believe you must ask to find the best realtor to sell your home. First of all, do you automatically offer an easy exit guarantee to every client? What are your actual results? Your days on market, how long does it take you to sell homes? Your sales price to list price ratio, how close are you selling to your recommended list price? What percentage of your business comes from past clients, referrals, and sphere of influence? Are people happy and willing to work with you again and refer you to friends and family? What's your system to ensure that I'm taken care of if you're not available? And why should I hire you over the competition? If you ask those 5, you'll be in really great shape. And if you pick another few from the rest of the list, you can personalize your search. And I feel really confident that you're going to get a great realtor for you. Now, of course, I'm happy and my team is happy to be interviewed. If you are choosing someone to represent you, we are happy to sit down with you and see if we can meet your high standards as well. So to get your copy of our exclusive realtor interview guide, simply pop your email into the chat box and I'll send that right off to you. If you're watching this as a recording, please just email learn@weselledmonton.com and simply put realtor interview guide in the subject line. Again, that's learn@weselledmonton.com and put realtor interview guide in the subject line and we'll send that off to you. No strings attached. Anything else you want to know, please just pop some questions in the chat box. I will stick around for a little bit after I close off the recording. And for future webinars, you can always check our webinar schedule on our website, weselledmonton.com. It's updated regularly, and there's other topics you might find of great interest as well. 5 common mistakes that buyers make. Maybe you want to recommend that to your friends, or if you've got kids who are thinking about buying their first home, that's a really great one. And also, we've got a webinar all about helping seniors downsize. So whether you're a senior who might find it useful, or if you or someone you know is a family member and helping a senior to downsize. It's 7 steps to get you started. So that's another one that's really, really useful. Again, you can always email us at learn@WeSellEdmonton for any of your questions. We're always happy to chat with you. If you'd like to have a phone consult or sit down, have a cup of coffee and chat about your situation, there's never any pressure at Schmidt. That is just not how we work. We treat our clients like family, like we'd want to be treated. It's just as simple as that. There's never any obligation whatsoever. We're just here and happy to chat real estate with you. It's as simple as that. You can call us anytime, 780-437-2030. Again, our email, learn@WeSellEdmonton.com. And of course, you can visit our website, WeSellEdmonton.com, anytime. You know, last year we were very honored to be part of a study in leadership through Royal Roads University in Victoria. The researcher told us that the number one thing our clients love about Schmidt is that everything was done at their pace. If they needed things done quickly, we were there. If they wanted to take things a little more slowly, then that was respected. You know, my team and I are here to help you anytime, so don't be shy to get in touch. Everything will be at your pace. Tonight, I hope you've got a better idea of how to find the right realtor for you. And again, we'd be honored to see if we might meet your high standards. So all the best. Thanks for joining me on this webinar. I hope to see you on another webinar soon. And again, any questions, email learn@WeSellEdmonton.com and we'll be delighted to hear from you. Look forward to catching up with you next time. Ciao for now.